Mellon Capital focuses on value-add opportunities in shopping centers and apartment buildings in Quebec and Ontario. We look for great neighborhoods and for properties that can be repositioned to be part of the transition of those great neighborhoods. And we buy existing properties and invest in them and create pretty special places to live and to work. The Benvenuto Group is a sister company to Mellon Capital. It focuses on infill luxury condominiums in Montreal and Toronto. And in some ways the two overlap. At times we buy properties in Mellon Capital that have extra development opportunities, and then our Benvenuto team steps in and looks at the opportunities to add density and to create special buildings and works with teams to create brand new projects in those neighborhoods where Mellon Capital looks to buy existing buildings. We look at things in a pretty serious way. We want to create special places, and the people who get along well with us and work with us well, work with us for a long time because they realize that we're people who are driven to do something special. Mitch Moss and I go back to the late 80s. We've been through hell and back together in tough real estate markets. We've seen interesting times. We've seen challenging deals. We've always worked hard, and we complement each other incredibly well.
I met Mitch Abrahams in, I believe, 1986, and then in the early 90s when the real estate world kind of hit the skids, we started investing in residential real estate, mainly in Montreal. And we've been doing commercial and residential real estate together since the early 1990s. Toronto market for condos was doing fantastic, but Mitch Abrahams felt that it was a little bit heated up. And he told me about 4 or 5 years ago, please find a couple of really good sites in Montreal so we can apply some of the principles that he learned in Toronto, condominium development, to the Montreal condominium market. So we started with a property called Onyx, which was really something we drove by about 4 years ago and thought it was a fantastic location and made inquiries, and 6 months later we bought this kind of vacant 24-unit apartment building and turned that into a condominium project.
I think everything starts with location. We focus really hard on buying exceptional sites. I think when you have an exceptional site, you can differentiate your projects from everything else in the marketplace. It takes us a lot more time to find interesting urban infill sites than to just buy what's for sale in a city. But based on that, we spend a lot of time understanding the demographic, the needs of those markets, and trying to figure out who the best professionals to work with to create something that fits the fabric of that neighborhood. So something that appears as Onyx does as a base of Mount Royal in a conservative neighborhood has to bring new life to that neighborhood, but at the same time doesn't want to clash with what's there. At the same time, when we moved downtown to do something like with Peterson, we wanted something that really would have an impact on the Montreal skyline. Yonge and Eglinton, we've been involved in a number of interesting projects. One of the most exciting sites has been the site of 18 Brownlow, an existing apartment building, which led to 83 Redpath, a luxury condominium development that we did. The site had a big visitor parking lot just west of it, and we went through a rezoning process and created 83 Redpath next door, which is a pretty exciting condo project, which was really well accepted and I think raised the bar in terms of the quality of condos that were coming on stream at Yonge and Eglinton, and started a process which has now brought all kinds of new life to that neighborhood. When I was starting Mellon Capital, I had seen the Benvenuto as a deal for a number of years. In some ways, I thought that would be the cornerstone to a great apartment portfolio. It was a building that sort of had a real heritage in Toronto. People had an affinity towards it. Everybody had a wealthy uncle or a grandmother or whatever, and some history tied to the Benvenuto. Coming from Montreal, I didn't understand it fully, but there were parallels in Montreal that I could relate to see how special a building it was to the marketplace. One of the nice things about having a large building, but that's still a mid-rise building, is that we get a sense of intimacy because it's not 40 stories high, but at the same time, being a large building, we're able to make sense of having full services, 24-hour concierge, a day porter, an on-site superintendent couple. You're really not giving up much moving from a large house to a suite like this. It's perfect for entertaining, for large families, and it really offers something special for someone looking to move to a larger space. Not available everywhere in town, but really pretty special space with great views, lots of room, and all the luxuries of the Benvenuto. I like to think that I push the bar in everything I do. To just do things over and over again is not my way. Real estate is an interesting thing. It's enduring. When you do a new project, it's going to be there for a long time. Some people take it as just a business. We take it a little more personally. When we do a project, we want our buyers to recognize that it's something special. We want people who live there for a long time to realize that there are a lot of things they didn't even realize were coming with their house. And that sort of goal of exceeding people's expectations drives us to create pretty special projects.